Hello and welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament tutorial. My name is Tristal MTG, you can just call me Tristal for short. I won the first tournament last year for Final Fantasy Randomizer, and I am also a co-champion of the Final Fantasy Randomizer League we ran this winter. This tutorial is designed for beginners to Final Fantasy Randomizer. I am going to assume you're familiar with vanilla Final Fantasy 1, but you may not be as familiar with core concepts of the randomizer. You can see up on the left above my head here, there's a whole bunch of stuff that gets randomized in Final Fantasy Randomizer. I'm going to go over that, some now and some as we get to it while we're playing. If you are unfamiliar with the randomizer community at all, the best place to go is to the Discord. You can find that. There's a link on finalfantasyrandomizer.com, as well as that's the website with which we randomize our ROMs and have all sorts of fun. So go to that Discord. There's lots of channels for asking for help and all sorts of other things. If you need help with setting up a Twitch account or racing on SRL, that's the place to go for that. This video is designed to just help you through what's going on with our spring tournament flags. That spring tournament's going to start May 30th. 2018. Signups are currently open. You can also find a link to the signups somewhere in the Discord, and I will put a link in the description below if you're watching this on Twitch, video on demand, or on YouTube. So I'm going to go over a little bit right now what goes on in the randomizer. I'm using the tournament flags. There are lots of different things you can customize in the randomizer, but there's a specific set of things we're going to use for the Swiss portion of the spring tournament, and so I wanted to start with those as a base. But there's a whole bunch of things you can customize. You don't have to be in a race to use this. This is just a web page you can access at any time. You can race for fun on your own, or you can join speedruns live and do races through that as well. We have a lot of active members in our community, but we're always looking for more. So the concept of the randomizer is that you're no longer just playing the vanilla or the base version of Final Fantasy. We change around a whole bunch of things, and there's other randomizers for lots of other games. A Link to the Past and Super Metroid are among the two most popular. What we do is very similar to that. The main things that are randomized are the enemies. Their statistics are going to change. What they do is going to change. And the treasures are going to be in totally different spots than normal. One common question we get a lot is, can the randomizer put treasures in an inaccessible location? Say, the floater somewhere where you would need the airship to access. The randomizer always does things so that you can't just have a ROM that is incompletable. It's always going to put treasures in progression order so that you can complete the game. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of different things that are randomized. There's also a few other changes. Some are for convenience, and some are just to make the game more fun. There's some map changes that go on. There's some bug fixes as well. There are a lot of bugs in vanilla Final Fantasy for NES. We do fix most of them, some of them to the player's benefit and some to its detriment. And a lot of that I'll go through as we get to it. For now, this is the screen that you're going to see when you first load the randomized ROM. It starts off at respond rate 8. What the respond rate is how fast the text on the screen goes. For this latest version, 2.1.0, you generally want this on respond rate 8. If you're just messing around and you're not in a race and you're just playing for fun, you feel free to change that. The lower numbers means the text goes slower. Specifically for the randomizer, respond rate 8 is sort of a turbo setting. It's faster than even vanilla's respond rate 8. 8 is the maximum. And also, I believe Respond Rate 7 will... you can hit left and right to change this, by the way. The Respond Rate 7 is also faster than a normal 7, but is, you know, a little slower than 8 if 8 scrolls by too fast for you to read things. I'm still going to go at 8, just so the video is a good example of what you'll see in a tournament race, as that's what I'm sort of trying to showcase here. Alright, so to start with, you can either hit New Game or Continue. If you hit Continue and there's no save file, it's not going to matter. So the very first thing you'll see, you're used to this screen in general when you load up Final Fantasy, but for Randomizer, the first thing I want to point out is, depending on how you set things, there's going to be forced party members. You can set any from 0 to 4 forced party members. The randomizer will choose those forced party members for you. Our tournament settings only have 1 forced party member. That's always going to show up in the first slot here. So you can hear right now I'm trying to switch this party member. The game will not let me. I have to have 1 red mage in my party. I can have more if I want to, but I can't have less. I'm obligated to have a red mage. Every seed's going to be different. If I re-roll the seed and get a totally new ROM, there's a 1 in 6 chance it's going to be a red mage. It could be any of the other classes. It's totally random. As usual, you just go ahead and set up the names. I'm just going to go ahead and put kind of the obvious names so it's easier to follow along. And now you'll see, because there's only 1 forced party member, you're allowed to change all the rest. So I'm going to go with just a really simple party, fighter, and 1 of each of the mages. I did actually cherry-pick the seed to make sure we weren't going to have a thief or a black belt, because those are a little more... they teach you less, I feel like, than this party would. So once you choose your 4 party members and you've named them, then you can begin. Alright, you're going to start just outside of Kineria, just as normal. You can walk around, and the first thing I'm going to show you here is if you hold down the B button, you get dash. That flag is almost always enabled, and you pretty much just want to hold down B everywhere, but that's up to you. If you need some more precision walking, you can just leave it off, you know, if you're walking through Ice Cave or something like that, but... Alright, so here's Kineria. In future versions of the randomizer, the entrances may get shuffled, but for these tournament flags, that's not going to happen. This is just going to be... You're always going to be right outside Kineria and the castle. One thing you'll notice right away that's different in Randomizer here is that this lady is not moving around and blocking your path. There's a few NPCs that changed places. Some of them are locked in place like she is. Some of them are removed altogether because they just got in the way and they were kind of annoying. You'll notice up here as well this soldier that sometimes got in the way of leaving town. He's stuck there. He's not going to block your way. So, all the locations, except for a very few overworld spots, are the same as in vanilla FFR. However, we'll just turn to the first thing on the randomized list, and that's shops. So, normally, this shop would have the most basic weapons in it. And it actually still does have a wooden staff, but you'll notice silver swords and scimitar as well. Shops will have swapped items, not strictly completely random items. So you'll never see, like, the Mazmune in a shop with these flags, but anything that's sold in a shop normally in vanilla FFR, you could see any number of them in a weapon shop here. The same's going to go for armor, and I'll explain spells in a bit as well. As you'll see, the armor is also kind of the same deal. Anything that's normally sold in a shop, you can see here, you're not going to find opal armor or something like that. You still have to find that in a chest. Sometimes NPCs do still get in your way, but you deal with it. So, alright, I'm going to go to the next thing is magic levels are randomized with these flags. Not magic shops, but magic levels. This can get a little complicated with all the different flags, but all you need to know for the tournament flags is that Kineria is still going to have all level 1 spells. You'll see Fade is here. That's great to see. Fade is not necessarily restricted to White Wizard only. Normally, Fade is a level 8 spell in vanilla, but here it's randomized. And you'll see, you know, Harm is still here too. It doesn't necessarily mean the better spells are going to be earlier and the weaker spells are going to be later. It's all totally random. But they're all switched around. We're not also ever going to see Fade at level 2 or 3 or anything else. There's only one instance of Fade, one instance of every spell. All of the spells are just randomized as they normally would be. So there's another flag called Keep Permissions. That is off. So what that means is, based on the slot we're looking at inside the magic shop, those permissions are retained for whoever wants to learn it. So my fighter still can't learn white magic, because he's a fighter, he doesn't have magic slots. When he transitions to a knight later on, he will get level 1, 2, and 3 white magic, just like he normally would. This mostly comes into play with, before we get the tail and advance to the advanced classes. This also pertains to the red mage. So normally this second slot is where the harm spell would be in vanilla. Red mages can't learn any of the harm family of spells. So even though I can't afford this, well, I was hoping to show you that the red mage could see it. Yeah, so it's going to tell me I can't learn that spell. It's in the second slot where harm would be. However, there is nothing stopping me from learning Fade, even though that's normally restricted to the advanced classes, because it's in a level 1 slot and white mages can learn all the level 1 spells. Not a problem. So we get early Fade, and that's really fantastic. Again, for the red mage here, it's in the 3rd slot. They can normally learn, I believe that's Fog, is in the 3rd slot here. Fade got randomized to this slot, so he gets to learn it. And of course, black mages can't learn white magic. That's the same as before. So let's check out what black magic we got. Yeah, this is all pretty weak. One thing I want to touch on is, among the bug fixes that are included in this randomizer, some of the spells didn't really work at all or worked differently in vanilla than what they were supposed to. Some examples include this Lock 2 spell. The Lock and Lock 2 spells didn't work at all in vanilla. We've fixed that. That doesn't necessarily mean they're good, but they do what they intended to do. Specifically, the Lock spells increased your accuracy against certain enemies. 2 spells that are very important that do work now are the Temper spell and the Saber spell. And those increase weapon power and damage. And they're very important. They didn't work at all in vanilla, and they do work here, and they become very useful later in the game. But again, there's no real spells for us there, so Black Mage is going to be worthless. I want to go check out the item shop. We'll notice something right away here. We have this buy 10 option. This is another one of the conveniences that's in Final Fantasy Randomizer, and makes things oh so much easier for life and everything else. You no longer have to sit with a rubber band on the A button on your controller to buy heal potions. You can buy 10 at a time. This is a great convenience. This works on everything. And it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to bother buying anything because I don't have a whole lot of gold left. And I'm basically just going to hope that Fade carries me through the beginning of the game, and I have no doubt that it will. Again, another NPC that's stuck in place here. Not blocking the exit, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the inn and save so I don't have to do any of this. You'll notice the costs have changed on a lot of things. I should have gone over that with everything else in shops. All the item prices are going to be changed. They're not necessarily going to be cheaper. They could be more expensive, but they're all within a certain range. That depends on how you set the flags. The inns are included in this, as well as your starting gold. We actually got kind of a low starting gold this time, but it's alright, because we were able to afford Fade. Alright, one cute trick you can do is once you've stayed at the inn, I could hit A and dash out of the town, but once you've saved, you can just reset, and then you start outside of the town. That's a little quick time save you can do. I'm not going to go over too many of those, but yeah, that's one neat thing you can do. I recommend keeping just like Control R, assuming you're emulating, as your reset button. Don't bind it to whatever controller you use. That's sort of a gray area in SRL, Speedruns Live stuff, so it's usually not hard to just have a keyboard handy. If instead you're using this on a flash cart, then do as you normally would. Sometimes that's sort of annoying when you want to power cycle instead of reset. I would recommend using an emulator, and again, there's lots of resources for that on speedrunslive.com, and ask in the Discord if you need help with any of that. Alright, so as usual, our first job is to go kill Garland. Some seeds will have what's called early bridge. You would see in the river there, the bridge would already be there even without talking to the king. However, our tournament flags don't have that. So let's walk, and hopefully we can do a battle. And so I'm going to go over some of the differences right away with that as well. So I'll just go down in order. Enemy scripts. So the enemy scripts are like Agamas always have the heat ability. That gets changed around, so anything could have heat. Enemy skills and spells. That means, so when both of those are enabled, that means not only is a bunch of instances of heat spread amongst all the normal enemies in the game, but it's not going to be the case that an enemy has 4 instances of heat in its skill list. It's going to be, you know, 1 instance here, 1 instance there, not necessarily the first thing in its list. It's just going to be all over the place. So this Mad Pony, which normally wouldn't have anything in vanilla, might have Nuke. It could go crazy, you know. Other things that get randomized as well, this could have Poison Touch. You know, it could poison you when it hits you. So enemies can get pretty wild. Some unexpected stuff could happen. Enemy unrunnable formations. So there are certain enemy sets, such as wizards or any of the bosses, Wizard Sahagin. There's lots of examples of enemies that you just can't run from in the vanilla game. We do shuffle which of those are unrunnable in the game. However, all the regular bosses, the Fiends and Chaos, you still can't run from those. I believe the Wizard Sahagin fight inside Sea Shrine, the one with that fills the screen with red Sahagin, that one has to stay unrunnable for technical reasons. But you'll find a lot of things are changed. I believe there will still be the same number of unrunnable formations as you would find. They're just going to be spread amongst different formations. This is not one of them, and you can tell this because this command will change to wait instead of run when it's an unrunnable enemy. That's because it's otherwise really difficult to tell, you know, if you're fighting something unrunnable. You waste an entire turn trying to run if you don't know. So that's more just like a UI thing. We have to have that in place so the game doesn't get really obnoxious. Alright. Enemy surprise bonus. So, just like unrunnables, each enemy formation has a specific surprise factor associated with it. This is most commonly seen with the shadow enemy. They have something like a 90% ambush rate. These are also randomized within all the enemy formations. So, for all I know, we got really lucky here against this Mad Pony, and it could have had a 90% chance to ambush us. Anything that can ambush you is runnable. That's also true in vanilla. We've kept that here as well. That pretty much explains that. So next thing is enemy formations frequency. So normally on this small continent, Mad Ponies are actually fairly uncommon. Mostly you'll find imps, a few gray imps. What we do instead is we shuffle the different formations that you can find in an area around. I won't go into super technical detail on how that works, but suffice to say, you're gonna run into some of the rarer enemies more often. And the last thing here is the RNG table. So that is pertaining to the battle encounter list. In a normal vanilla run, there's lots of ways to manipulate when you fight things. You can do weird step count things to manipulate all the things associated with combat. We try to eliminate that as much as possible. So, two things happen. There's a 1 to 256 array of when you'll encounter things during steps. That all gets shuffled around. You'll still have, over those 256 steps, the same amount of encounters, but they'll be in different spots on that table. The other thing we do is we shuffle around the encounters on that RNG table. So I think in a power-off on vanilla, you would normally fight a set of imps here in the first encounter. And so because we've changed the enemy formation's frequency, that changes. Even if we had enemy formation's frequency off, though, the RNG table manipulation might change that as well. Alright, so I don't really have any weapons. I have fade spells, but I don't especially want to use them. I'm just going to run from this. So another thing that's different is one of the bug fixes is the run chance. So normally in vanilla Final Fantasy, the first 2 character slots in your party have a great chance to run, and the 3rd character has a chance to run, and the 4th character almost never runs. And this is due to several bugs that reference weird parts of memory to determine if they can run. Instead, run chance is based on level and luck. Some classes have better chances to run than others because they start with more luck. Thief is especially good at running. Thief gets an extra bonus to it in the randomizer, so it's the best class at running. A level 1 Thief has roughly the same chance to run as a level 50 Black Belt, I believe. So Thieves are actually good for something in randomizer, which is nice. Alright. Okay, we managed to run. You'll notice that went by really fast with text there. As I said, respond rate 8. We accelerate a lot of this just to kind of get through a lot of this slog. So, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna encounter... Oh, imps have Scorch! Look! Isn't this fun? And we're dead. Welcome to Randomizer, everyone! But luckily we saved. So, I'm just gonna go back. Try and kill Garland. I recommend saving as often as possible. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford a whole lot of camping equipment. So, I didn't get to do a lot of that. Alright, so... As usual, here is Temple of Fiends. I am going to go ahead and go pick up the treasures if I can. As long as I don't just die. I could cast Fade, but I'm not too worried about it. Oh! And imps have Gas Dragon Poison as their second ability. So it's random what enemies are going to get. Normally it's not this sadistic. So hopefully, through a few tries, we're gonna be able to do some stuff. I do still want to try and pick up the 3 treasure chests on the west side here. Hey, the defense sword is pretty cool. I'm gonna put this on you for now. Unfortunately, all the equipment permissions, those are not randomized. Otherwise, it'd be too annoying to try and figure out who can equip what. Defense is limited to Knight, Ninja, and Red Wizard. Red Wizard being the upgraded form of Red Mage. So we got some gold, which is good. And we got a cool sword, which could be useful later. Spider Ambush, not a big deal. Spider did have the Brack spell, that was actually kind of annoying. I'm going to put the Red Mage down here, because the characters in the first 2 slots get attacks more often, and the Black Mage totally sucks right now, and the fighter doesn't do a whole lot either. So you'll notice, because Garland is unrunnable, this run command changed to wait. I'll go ahead and do that. It's just going to show up with a message that says wait. It's as if you didn't run. As usual, you still need to kill Garland to save the princess, and with the Fate spell, that's not too tough. You'll notice with the level ups, another convenience, we got rid of the stat text, because that's very rarely relevant. It's not going to say strength up, intelligence up, blah blah blah. You just skip past that. So all of our characters leveled up. Go talk to Sarah. Go get warped to the castle. But what's this? He didn't give us the bridge, he gave us the crown. So that's another thing that's randomized. Here's this main NPC items thing. So, all the NPCs that give you items. So, the king, Sarah right next to me, Vicky the pirate, Sarda the sage, the circle of sages in Crescent Lake for the canoe, Marcy the robot in the waterfall for the cube, as well as the caravan merchant that would normally give the bottle. All of those are shuffled around. So they could give you any of the plot items. So we got the crown. Sarah gave us the canoe. Getting the canoe early is extremely common, because that opens up quite a bit of the world, as I will show you in a bit. So you notice we didn't get the bridge. That's sort of awkward, right? Well, no, it turns out that's okay. So, as usual, we leave. We have some gold now, so let's go pick up some stuff. I wanted to pick up armor. Iron armor is pretty good for fighter. Red mage can use chainmail. And I'm not too worried about copper bracelets because they don't really protect a lot. Just going to save my money on those. I'm going to pick up some camping equipment, because we use those all the time. I'm going to buy 10 tents, 10 pure potions. Let's go with 30 heal potions. And I'm going to buy 2 soft potions, because they're a little expensive, but you still want them. Because you never know what's going to have Stone Touch. There's only going to be one enemy in the game with Stone Touch, but it might get you anyway. So again, I'll save. I'm just going to walk out because I'm lazy. Alright, so we don't have a bridge, and we don't have a ship. We have a canoe, but there's no rivers that lead out of here. So what the heck are we supposed to do? Well, one of the things that changes is called open progression. And there's a couple map changes that happen here. Oh, that's just wonderful. Alright, I'm going to reset away that. Some of you may have noticed when I walked over this way, normally this mountain range would stop my progression west. However, here's the port that normally leads to Dwarf Cave. Very strange. I'm going to use the tent just so I don't have to deal with saving and not saving. Yeah, sure, let's kill this. Not really concerned about fighter not having a weapon. Fade's just gonna blow everything up in the early game. So we picked up another level. Alright. And we got ambushed and tranced. Beautiful. Welcome to Randomizer. Okay, so let's go to Dwarf Cave. There's 2 treasure chests in Dwarf Cave. Let's just pick those up now. Lots of money. But nothing else. We can't... Narek wants the TNT in here, and we don't have that, so... Normally, again, you're thinking, what the heck do you do? Well, we can go down this way. And you'll see that the canal's not open, because we haven't given Narek the TNT. Oh, so close. Well, we got the ambush, so we're just gonna get a free run here. So this pre-canal landmass actually acts as the bridge. So when we walk over it, we're going to get the normal bridge scene. We're just going to hit A through it. Blah, blah, blah. Some people. Oh, look, some more people, including me. Yay. Yay, Entroper. Alright, and that only happens once. So I'm going to save, because reasons. And because we have the canoe, we can just walk through this river. So that's pretty cool. So that means this gives us access not only to Northwest Castle here, but look, we have the crown. perhaps we'll go say hi to Mr. Astos. So, the fetch quest NPCs. So we've got this Crown Crystal Herb Key deal. We've also got Slab Chime. These fetch quests remain the same. So Astos always wants the crown. He's always going to give you the crystal. That's important to know. The key is required to complete the game, because there are some doors in the final dungeon that are locked by the Mystic Key for some reason, even though in vanilla you are obligated to have it very early on. So here's the Astos fight, again, of course, unrunnable, but we've got some Fate spells, so I'm not too worried. Bleh. Astos gives a lot of experience. In fact, so much experience that we can gain multiple levels in the same battle. This is another convenience that the randomizer gives us. Normally, you would only be able to gain 1 level per battle, not so in the randomizer. So we got the crystal, but we still don't have access to Matoya. For now, let's just save. I'm gonna head over to Elfland first. Now, if I wanted to, I could walk in the rivers and fight some tougher stuff. That would be a reasonable way to level up early on. I'm not gonna worry about that at the moment. I'm just gonna run from things. Unless we come across something particularly nasty, but... Let's go to Elfland first. Alright, I do want to check out some shops. We do have a bit of money. I suppose I'll give you a silver axe so you can do something. But I'm more interested in spells. So again, because we've only got magic levels randomized, that's randomizing the levels of the spells. So we get a couple of really nice spells here in Ice 3 and Warp. I'm gonna have the Red Mage learn both of those as well, and hopefully I don't get locked out of really cool level 3 white magic for the Red Mage, but I doubt it. Nope, this is all pretty terrible. Harm 2 is okay, but we've got Fade, and I'm not really too worried about Harm 2. Let's see, level 4, hey. And sometimes this happens, you know. I don't need to buy Cure 2, ever, because Cure 3 is there. There's literally no reason to have Cure 2, because Cure 3 is even cheaper. Cure 4 is more expensive, but it's Cure 4, so let's learn it. I'm only going to get one, because I can't really afford the other one, but that's fine. Let's see what we got here. Wow! Again, those are pretty nice. There's Lit 3, but there's Nuke. And Fast is also really nice. One thing you might want to do when you're doing a race is write down some notes. I can't afford all the spells I want here. I am going to get Nuke anyway, because I'm going to want it at some point, but I'm going to want to return here for Fast. So hopefully I remember that at some point. Let's go check out the item shop. Alright, nothing too exciting. Walk out. I'm gonna go check out the armor shop. The two biggest pieces of equipment that I'm worried about in general are the gold bracelet and the pro ring. That one's here, so that's good to remember. But again, of course I can't afford it, because this is pretty early. You'll probably want to remember this. For the end of the game, you generally want to have pro rings on all of your party members. It is the best gauntlet in the game for every single class. It has 8 protection and protects you against the death elements. So it's very useful. Did I equip this? I did not. Let's do that. And let's check out the inn. Alright, well, still don't have the ship. We do have the canoe. So there's a couple things we can do. We can go to Marsh Cave. That will potentially give us some cool stuff in treasure chests. Or we can head east, because there are rivers that lead to the eastern side of the continent. So there is lots of stuff we can do here. I'm going to save a bit. And hopefully I don't get completely devoured by river monsters. I'm going to head over to Crescent Lake. Assuming I don't die to this. Hey, poison. Everybody's favorite. we've got plenty of fade charges. These should just die to it, so... Get some more nice early levels. Fairly frequently, it seems like the open progression leads to... I'm just going to reset past that. The early progression leads here fairly common. I usually do get the canoe pretty early. Alright. Let's head over to Crescent Lake and take advantage of that early Circle of Sages. So, alright, some more stuff here, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna check here for the gold bracelet. We are not successful. I suppose we'll peek at the level 6 magic. There's heal 3. That's a pretty good one. Block magic is kind of terrible. Alright, so normally, in order for the Circle of Sages to give you anything, you have to kill Lich first. With these tournament flags and the early Sage flag enabled, we do not need that. And normally he would give you the canoe, but of course, we have our main NPC items randomized, so he gave us the floater instead. That one's pretty good. I like the floater. So, let's exit here, go in real quick, save at the inn. Ooh, it's kind of expensive, but that's alright. We're about to get a bunch of cool stuff. Alright, so we have the floater. There is nothing stopping us from getting the airship now. Except some monsters between here and there. And let's kill it for funds and experience and all that good stuff. Mages are really nice in the early game. Oh, this one's free too, because we ambushed them. There's level 7 for everybody. And of course you'll notice the experience in gold has gone up as well. That is also as a result of our flag settings. Hey! That's great. I'm gonna try real hard not to die before I get the airship. Alright. So, go to the desert, just like vanilla. The airship is here when you use the floater. That's not weirdly randomized. Alright, so we've got the airship, like, crazy early. So that's pretty great. Let's heal our red mage. Save at the inn. And let's go find some cool stuff. So, now we can go pretty much anywhere in the world. We have the airship and the canoe. Normally what I do first, let's go visit Sarda, again, because he's one of the main NPCs, and we have an early Sarda flag on. You do not need to kill the vampire before he gives you whatever item you would normally get. And we got the bottle. Bottle has the fairy that will always show up in Gaia, but not necessarily give you the Oxyel, I think. We'll find out. Actually, I think she does always give the Oxyel because she's part of that fetch quest. Another cool thing you can do is we can go to the back door here and check out these 4 treasures. We're just not going to tell the type. Opal armor, flame armor, some money, and some more money. Cool. Let's just warp out. Alright, I could stop in Melmond to check some stuff out. I'm not too concerned. What I would like to do, though, is go visit Matoya. You've got the crystal. She would like to have that crystal back. Oops. Hey, and she's got some nice swag for us as well, including a ice shield, which is fantastic. Copper gauntlet, which is less fantastic, but it's there. A silver dagger, I guess to make our black mage a little more useful. She's always going to give you the herb when you hand her the crystal. That doesn't change, again, because she's part of that long fetch quest. So let's go visit the Elf King, or Elf Prince, rather. and we can pick up our key. Again, the key is required to finish the game because there are certain locked doors that you are obligated to pass through. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of locked treasure rooms all around the world. There are a couple key items that are randomly in chests. Like, the crown would normally be in a chest. Obviously it's not, because we've already got it. Once you get the airship, generally you do a little bit of cleanup duty. Whether or not you have the key, you can at least go check out what Sarda's got. And right after this, we'll go check out the Cardia Islands. We don't have the tail yet, in order to promote. But there's still some treasure to be had there. Alright, so let's go do that. I'm going to sail south from here. Alright, so I'm going to go into this one. Pro Cape. Ooh, white shirt, very nice. Right. Actually, you can have the Pro Cape for now, that sounds great. Alright, this cave right here is where Bahamut is, but we don't have the tail, so that's of no use to us. I don't have too much camping equipment left. You'll see you can reset to sort of get around encounters on the overworld. You know, I walked 2 steps after saving and fought something, reset past it, and then walked a whole bunch more steps to fight something else. That's the encounter table in a nutshell. Ha! He's got heal 3, that's great. And some levels. Alright. Let's go pick up some more treasure. Sometimes this dragon's annoying and blocks things. Only the knight can equip the Opal Gauntlet. I think I'm just gonna run from these, because hopefully they don't have... Oh, wow, they have Cure 4 and Heal 3. They are super healers. That's pretty funny. Alright. And this is the last one that has stuff. This one has the most stuff. Hopefully we'll find something useful here as well. Not really. I actually have no idea which is better between these two. It's unlikely to matter very shortly, but... chances are pretty good we're going to find some better treasure sooner or later. Alright. So one thing we didn't do is we never got to Provoca. Let's go have a little chat with Bicky the Pirate, shall we? Also, level 2 spells are good. Usually. So let's check those out. See if we can't find something good. Again, you always know that Provoke is going to have the level 2 spells. There's Fog 2 there, but let's check out what's in Black Magic first. Moderately weak. I mean, Fire 2 costs nothing, so I'm just going to grab it, I guess. But Zap is okay. I'm not a huge fan. It's an instant kill spell with a reasonable chance to work, but you can take it or leave it. I'm gonna save at the end. And let's go talk to Bicky, who will not necessarily have the ship. Of course, they aren't going to have very many hit points, so Fade's just going to kill them all. And he's got the rod, which we'll need to complete the Earth Cave. I'm gonna go over here, check the armor shop for gold bracelet. It is here. They're not that expensive. I think I'm actually gonna pick up a couple. I think I'm good with those two, so these have some armor. I'm gonna go ahead and sell the open gauntlet as well, because that's not really super useful. But I'm going to keep the rest. This isn't going to sell for anything, I'm just going to drop it. And let's check out the item shop. You do need to check out all the item shops in the world, or at least a few of them. Let's pick up some camping equipment. I would rather these be tents, but that's alright. Save one more time. Again, once we get to this point, we can reset and we've saved. Alright, we didn't finish cleaning up all our treasures from the Mystic Key, so we can go do that. Canaria Castle's got a few. Canaria is facing some hard times. Ah, there's some money. Alright, we got a little bit. We got an iron helmet, which I guess I'll equip. Not super exciting, but, you know, it's free. Alright, there's a couple treasures in the Temple of Fiends here. I'm gonna save outside. These treasures are guarded by some spiked tiles, though. So I'm guaranteed to fight gargoyles here. That is not randomized. Ooh, the dragon armor. That's very useful. That is the best armor in the game for the night. So hopefully we'll find the tail fairly soon. I could be killing these. It's kind of faster not to. One thing that's nice is we can just warp out of here instead of fighting those other spectile things. Continue on down. Dwarf Cave has a healthy amount of items in its treasury, so let's go liberate those. We don't have the TNT, but we don't especially need the canal at this point either. Hey, a ribbon. And a lot of money. That was great. I'm gonna give the ribbon to you. And give myself some inventory slots, and get out. Alright, so that's all our locked treasure chests. So now you just gotta decide where you want to go from here. The other goals, of course, you have to light all the 4 orbs. So that's a good place to start. One neat trick, you can land on the caravan. And the caravan doesn't have our random item in it. One of the item shops in the game, including the caravan, is going to have what normally would be the bottle. But of course, that's going to get randomized as well. I'm skipping these level 7 shops because it's unlikely I'm going to ever get charges. And we've seen all the things I care about out of the weapon and armor shops at this point. Let's see what we got. Nope, it's in the on-rack item shop. I am going to buy a couple houses, though, because those are useful. And remember, we freed that fairy about 10 minutes ago. So let's go talk to her while we're here. And of course, we get the Oxyale, which will get us into the Sea Shrine. Alright. I am fairly curious what we'll find in this on-rack item shop, since I believe it is the only one we haven't checked. And if I happen to fight some things on the way that give a bunch of experience, I'm pretty okay with that. And hey, this one's unrunnable anyway, so I am obligated to fight it. Or reset past it, but you know. And I got all this magic, and I'm pretty close to an inn, so why not? Packs a punch. Alright, so here's our item shop, and lo and behold, we've got the cube for sale. Well, we need to buy that at some point, so I may as well just do it now. Sometimes this can be prohibitively expensive. It gets up to about 65,000 gold. Hopefully, by the time you have the airship and it matters, you know, you'll have found enough treasure for that to be somewhat negligible, but there's a lot of things you might want to buy in the game. However, the cube is certainly one of them. We have the Oxy Ale, so in theory we could go into Sea Shrine and go kill Kraken, but we are a touch low level. We're only level 9. So I hesitate to do that. There are 5 key items in the game that we are sort of looking for in addition to lighting the orbs. We have 2 of them, the crown and the floater. The other 3 are the slab, which gets us into the Lefane for the chime, which we need to get into Mirage Tower. And the loot, which we need to get past one of the floors in the final dungeon. I guess that's really it. The NPC shuffle kind of changes things a bit. The bottle is something you would need to find as well. Normally we'd need to find the ship, but I don't think we have to. We have the rod as well. So, we do still need to find the loot. That could be in a treasure chest. Marcy could have it. There's a lot of things that lead us in different directions right now. So, now is a pretty good time to save, and let's go check out the waterfall. We don't necessarily even have to go to this waterfall, depending on what item Marcy serves up. But there's 6 chests there, and a key item. I generally like going to it. It's not a super difficult dungeon. Gives you some levels. I'm just gonna fight everything on the way, since I plan on using a house right before we enter anyhow. It's good to know these things have a lot of hit points. We just nuked it for 366 and didn't kill it. Sort of hoping to find the tail as well. I'm gonna cure this poison now, even though I actually don't have to. When you're on the water, either in a canoe or on the ship, poison doesn't actually affect you. Outside, on the overworld anyway. But we're gonna go ahead and use the house. That's gonna heal our MP. Let's go check out Waterfall. Stuff in a waterfall gives a pretty good experience. So it's a nice spot to be early on. I'm just going to run from these. These aren't super great. And we ambush them, so we are guaranteed to be able to run. I want to make sure I save 1 warp charge so that we can leave here easily. These guys aren't too bad. They might hit pretty hard, so hopefully we just kill them. No problem. And the levels just keep piling up. You can try to keep in mind a level target that you're going to want to hit in preparation for the endgame. So here's Marcy, and she was really nice and went over to on top of the spike tile to give us an item instead of having to go in there. But there's 6 chests in there. I actually kind of want to go in anyway. I'm going to use a couple heal potions just to try and make sure my guys don't die. And let's fight this fight, because it's going to give a bunch of experience. Yeah, it looks like Nuke's just going to take care of it. So, well played, Black Mage. Alright. Lots of gold. Otherwise, not super exciting. Guess we get a small gauntlet upgrade. So let's warp out and save right away. And again, I'm just gonna fight things because I've got lots of charges. Ow! Alright. I guess we're gonna stop by Onrak and revive our poor Black Mage. See, Aren't Mage is great. They can be a little squishy, though. Let's go hit up the inn for the easy heal. Reset. Let's get the quick warp out of town. I'm gonna head back to the airship to venture on, since I don't think we're quite ready for Sea Shrine, although we're fairly close. I'm just gonna run from this, if I'm allowed. There we go. And they found us. Alright. The next place I want to show you guys is Castle Ordeal. Normally this is where we get the tail. The randomizer has a feature that I want to show off for this as well. Actually, a couple. I'm going to go ahead and house up here. That spot that I parked in is the closest place to park the airship for Ordeal's access. There is also a river that leads to the ocean, with which, if you have the ship and the canoe, you can park there instead, which is closer to the castle on land, but, you know, you still have to sail to it. So it's sort of a pain. I suppose I'll heal my White Mage a bit with these Cure 4 charges that I've been hoarding. Just gonna run from things. So yeah, here's the, if you have the ship, you can dock one spot north of where I am and use the canoe to get to Castle Ordeal. Alright, I'm gonna save right outside. So I'll explain a few things as we go in. First off, this guy says you have to have the crown in order to enter Castle Ordeal. This is normally true in vanilla, despite the fact that you are obligated to have the crown in plot progression. However, one of the conveniences we have enabled is early ordeals. That means you do not actually need the crown in order to step on this throne. We do have it anyway, but you don't need it normally. You can come here without the crown, and in fact, the crown can be inside Castle Ordeal with this flag, I believe. Alright, so, normally this is a strange pillar maze, but the pillars aren't necessarily going to lead to where they normally would in vanilla. That is another one of the things that gets shuffled around. Like so. We're back to the entrance here. This isn't what we want. Let's use the warp spell. Go back. Try a different one. Well, that one's no good either. I'm not going to waste a warp charge on it, though. Alright, we haven't been here yet. Alright, 50-50 on whether or not this pillar is useful. That one seems alright. That's somewhere new. How about this one? No, that wasn't so great. Let's try this one. Alright, and the last 50-50 leads to somewhere we've been. So let's warp back, and this one is going to lead to the stairs eventually. Except we're going to have to fight these first, and they ambushed us and have frost, so that's great. And lit 2. Okay. Well, here's hoping we survive this. No? Super. Come on, guys. Normally this is an unrunnable, but it has been randomized to be runnable. We just haven't had great luck. Alright, well, that didn't work out super great, but yeah, we'll be alright. And here's the stairs up north. Of course, we have to fight something on the way. Alright, there's a spike tile right past this door full of nightmares. I would like to run. Let's use a couple heal potions. Oh, good thing we ambushed. That was not really worth it. Yay! We just might die. We've got 6 fade charges, let's go nuts. This is going swimmingly. White Mage is gonna get a bunch of experience. Coral Sword and Katana. And, well, we got the Vanilla Tail. That did get randomized, but it just happened to end up in the same spot it normally is. So this chest specifically I want to talk about. This is what's called an incentive chest. So there are various chests in the game that give the plot items. The two that we're most concerned with are this tail chest and the floater chest in Ice Cave. Now, obviously, the one in Ice Cave is not going to give the floater because we already have it. But these chests are incentive chests, and because we've enabled them in the options in the randomizer, they are always going to have either one of the plot items, the tail, or sometimes there are lots of other things that are included in that list. The Mazmune, ribbon, opal bracelet, lots of other things that could be included in that. I believe the tail is the only extra item that's included in this incentive pool. The long and short of it with these tournament flags is you need to get these incentive chests if you want all of the plot items. They're always going to have one of the good plot items or the tail. We got the tail, we wanted the tail, so that's alright. One thing I am slightly worried about is killing the zombie dragons that are right in front of the throne here. Wish me luck. Hey, and they strike first. That's beautiful. Well, let's try killing them, I guess. Oh boy. Please die. Thank you. Okay. Well, we gotta get lucky again. Alright, it tried to break us, but we've got the ribbon on, so it's not gonna be very successful. And this throne always leads outside. So, we made it. Not quite in one piece, but we made it. Alright, running from this stuff is gonna suck. I'm gonna try killing it, but I might just die in the process. That's okay, we just saved. Well, pretty close now. Ah, that's too bad. Alright, try again. That's too quick. If you get into a fight just after you save, a quick reset can save you some time. I'm gonna save prodigiously on the way out, so as to try and not get into too many annoying encounters. Sometimes the encounter table gets angry at you. And we're back. So let's head up to a town. Doesn't really matter which one. I guess we'll go to Provoca. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. As far as those incentive chests go, sometimes different things are incentivized, and sometimes by the time you would check them, you kind of already have everything anyway. So, if with the items you have, you know you can already complete the game, you don't necessarily need to check the progression chests if they just have... If you don't care about advancing with the tail, or sometimes there's other stuff that's incentivized, like a ribbon you might not need. That's not what I meant. There we go. So there's a couple reasons why you might not check incentive chests. But chances are right now that the Ice Cave chest, I believe, should have the loot. Unless it's in a random chest. I'm not entirely sure on that. Now we've got lots of money, let's fill up on heal potions. You're only allowed to carry 99 heal potions. As you can see, I can't carry anymore. If you have anywhere between 90 and 99 currently in your inventory and you try to buy 10, it's going to tell you this. If you have, let's say, 90 heal potions and you try to buy 10, it's going to tell you you can't carry more, and it's not going to give you any of them. You're going to be stuck at 90. I'm at 94 right now. I'm okay with that. I don't need to have 99 necessarily. Alright, so that's that. I've got all my spell charges, so let's run out. So we've got a couple errands to run right now. We're not terribly far from Melmond, so we've got a couple things to do there. We haven't been inside the town yet to check what the level 5 spells would be, so that's worth doing. And of course the other thing, now that we've got the slab, is to go have that translated. And wow, all those level 5 spells are terrible. So let's go talk to Dr. Uni. He's always going to teach you Lefanish with the slab. That doesn't change. And instead of waiting for this guy to get out of the way, I'm just going to warp. And another thing we need to do is we got the tail. So let's go promote. This southeastern hole on the 2-hole island is the one we need. There is one scenario where you might not necessarily want to promote your characters immediately. And that scenario is the black belt. So, due to how stat progression works in Final Fantasy, all the characters I have, Fighter, Red Mage, White Mage, and Black Mage, there is no penalty to promoting early. The stat changes, I don't believe, change at all. It only lets me equip more things and be able to learn more spells. The Black Belts, however, their stat gains do change between Black Belt and Master. The Black Belt gains 4 magic defense per level, which is not a stat you're going to see on the screen. It is a hidden stat. The Black Belt gains 4 points per level. The Master, the upgraded class, only gains 1 point per level. So, if your team is centered around a highly leveled Black Belt, you are better off waiting to exchange the tail until you have completed your level grind. That's sort of obscure. It's not terribly likely to matter for the tournament flags for a few reasons. One is that the enemy stat scaling isn't very high, so you typically don't need a black belt in these flags. It's not, we're not going with crazy 400% scaling where the final bosses might have, 6,000 hit points and tons of evasion, where the black belt, the high-level black belt is the most powerful unit in the game. It just takes a lot of time to get him to be the most powerful. The other reason is it's not likely that it's going to be your first party member. It's a 1 in 6 chance. If it is, then You know, maybe you'll try and wait to promote in case you get an early tail in airship and you know, he's pretty low level, but otherwise, in general, it's a good idea to promote early. If you don't have a black belt, there's no penalty to it at all. Plus, because I promoted early, my knight right now is level 13. At level 15, and every odd level after that, so 15, 17, 19, etc., he's going to gain 1 spell charge in White Magic 1, 2, and 3 levels. But that doesn't start until level 15. If I promoted at, say, level 16, he would not start with any spell levels. He would not start gaining spell levels until level 17, and every odd level after that. That's the same behavior as in Vanilla, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Let's just warp out of here because I like being quick about things. Alright, so now we've promoted, and now we get a much better weapon. A couple, in fact. And some better equipment here as well. We got the dragon armor. And you got a white shirt, which has the same defense as a gold bracelet, but has a couple other benefits. We can sell all this stuff if we want to, or we can just drop it. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to keep that for now. It's not going to matter too much. Okay, so we promoted. Again, now it's just a matter of where do you want to go. I think a good place to go next is Ice Cave. Again, with these tournament flags, unless at this point we knew the tail had to be there and we didn't care about the tail necessarily, you are not obligated to promote in order to complete the game. But with the way these flags are, all of the NPCs and all the incentive locations, you have to visit them all, unless except for the one that has the tail. So I believe. Unless, actually, that's not true. I think the ship could be in here as well. But it's usually worth going to anyway. So let's try it out. And while we're in here, I'm going to show you a pretty neat trick to get the incentive chest early. Alright, normally batches of wizards are really annoying because they are unrunnable. However, they've been shuffled to be runnable. Assuming my team decides to get off its ass and actually run. Alright. Ooh. This is a little mean. Alright. Well. Suppose we'll kill these then. We are not allowed to run from this one. I'm not going to go too in-depth on, you know, deep race strategies, ways to, you know, be as fast as possible. This is sort of more just for a learning experience. This is intended for beginners to the randomizer. So hopefully I'm succeeding at that. But again, if you have any questions that I'm not answering here, the Discord is a great place to go for any questions you have, whether it be game-related, setting up your stream, doing any of that. Alright, so this is the room where the incentive chest is. Now, normally, what you would have to do is dive down one of these holes, and go through a bunch of other floors, dive through another hole to land on that patch where the center chest is. I think that's lame. That's going to take too long. So what I'm going to do, any one of these holes always leads here. But what you can do, if you have this handy-dandy warp spell, is just come right here and hit the incentive chest. This incentive chest normally has the floater. Again, it's going to have one of the key items. So we've got the loot. That's great, because we need that to finish the game. In fact, I believe we have all the items necessary to finish the game, minus a couple fetch quests that we know are going to lead to other things. We've translated the slab, so we just have to walk over to Lefane to grab the chime. So, in theory, I don't actually have to open any more chests. There's going to be 2 more key items inside chests. Actually 4 more if you want to count the ruby and adamant. One of them is the bridge that we never got that leads from Kineria towards Provoca. We don't care about that at this point. The other one is the ship, which we also don't care about because we have the airship. So, at this point, we are in what's colloquially called Go mode. We don't need to open any more chests in order to complete the game. We just need to complete the plot, kill the 4 fiends, go to Temple of Fiends Revisited, and whoop chaos. That means you don't have to open every single chest at this point. So you can decide for yourself, based on the equipment you've got, whether or not you want to open more chests for better equipment, or if you just want to hurry to the end of the game. I'm slightly low level at this point. My equipment's alright. I have the defense sword, which is a pretty solid weapon for the knight. I've got some pretty solid armor, I've got a ribbon, I've got the white shirt, but there's a few more things I could use for sure. You'll learn kind of through enough of these races whether or not you feel like you've got enough stuff. I would like to be a higher level for sure, but we can kind of get to that whenever we feel like. The other factor as well here is I've only got so many warp charges, although I guess my red mage has a bunch as well. So actually I'm going to employ that. We are going to skip the rest of the chests in the ice cave. I believe there's something like 13 chests. It's just going to take a while to get through it all. And if we use enough warp charges, we're going to get right back to the entrance. Alright, so now you just have to decide where you want to go next. I think I'm going to go to the Earth Cave. That's traditionally the easiest one to do. We have to do all 4 at some point anyway. You'll notice that we've also managed to skip the Earth Cave the Marsh Cave entirely, which is usually pretty great, because the Marsh Cave is just full of treasure and not much else, no plot items necessarily. It's usually a big waste of time, so it's cool that we were able to skip that. Alright. There's some treasures on this floor, but again, I sort of don't care. We do have the rod, which is required to complete this dungeon, so I see no reason why we shouldn't just go complete it. So a lot of things from here on out are just going to be going through the motions. Hopefully I'll try and explain things I'm doing as I go, but really from here on out it's going to be leveling a little bit, getting a few treasures here and there. This is free, so we may as well kill it. You got lots and lots of charges of magic. I say it's free because we ambushed them. We had the chance to strike first. I know sometimes that's tough to see because we're in response rate 8. This treasure was easy enough to pick up, and it turns out it was actually alright. That is a better weapon for the red mage. Not that the red mage is in desperate need of weapons, but, you know, once in a while it's alright. Oh, well, that's fairly annoying. This is going to be a fun fight. Alright, well, let's just try to run since he's not going to be able to kill all 8 of these by himself. Nope. Trance is certainly among the most annoying abilities in the game. Oh! Yeah. This isn't great. So, let's try again. That was a pretty rough ambush. That kind of stuff's just going to happen in Randomizer. Hopefully you have saved recently. There are very few no-death games of Final Fantasy Randomizer. Don't get discouraged. Alright, I'm tired of these battles. Don't get too discouraged if you die a lot. Sometimes that's just the nature of the beast. This one's unrunnable. When you're in the race scenario, of course you are not allowed to look at your opponent's screen to see how they're doing. So a lot of times, you've always got it in your head, you know, wondering where your opponent is, if they've died a whole bunch of things. Typically the answer is yes. Generally, you know, everybody's gonna die to the same stuff. Sometimes some people will get lucky. Again, that's just Randomizer for you. Try not to get too discouraged at any bad things that would happen. You know, luckily, it usually doesn't take too long to recover from anything. Again, I'm not getting all the chests. I'm only getting the ones that are fairly convenient to get to. There's a chest in that room that I just passed north of me, but it's guarded by an earth elemental, so I'm just not going to bother with it. We are still obligated to kill the vampire, who is of course unrunnable, as he is a boss. He is among the weakest bosses in the game, but he's still a boss. This chest is pretty easy, but unfortunately it doesn't give anything good. We gotta use the rod to lift the plate. At this point, you pretty much just have to try and plan ahead for, you know, all the bosses you know you have to fight. Lich is the easiest of the bosses. It's not going to be too tough. Just fade these to save some time. Get a little bit of experience. Heal up a touch. Sometimes bats get in your way. They can be fairly annoying. We've tried to eliminate most of the roadblocks, but not all of them. Oh, this bat's just gonna be super annoying. Alright, and here's our first Fiend Orb. I'm gonna make sure we're all healed up. Alright, so our game plan with the current party we have, the Knight's got a defense sword, so he can do some okay damage. And then the rest of our team is just going to use a bunch of magic to try and kill Lich. Just gonna fade, nuke. Lich doesn't have too many hit points. The base is 400, so that's gonna be plus or minus, I think, about 150%. Blizzard, that's actually pretty annoying. But Lich still died. And there's our first orb. So you can see in there, in the inventory there, we got one. Let's go head over to Elfland. There were some spells we wanted to pick up. And we need to go revive our Black Mage anyway. So we can do both of those. And if I recall, Pro Rings were here as well? Yes, indeed. So we want to make sure everybody's got a Pro Ring. I'm going to go into the inventory screen real quick. I don't need money for anything at this point, so I'm just going to drop this flame armor and this gold and all this other stuff. This silver gauntlet is much worse than the pro ring, so let's buy some more pro rings for our other party members. It's fun having all the money. Alright. Much better. Let's go get some heal potions. Nope, we haven't used any of those. Alright, well, some cabins, and now that we can afford them, let's just go crazy on soft potions. So that is more soft potions than we are likely to ever need. Alright, so we want a fast spell. And you didn't have Nuke yet either. Nuke is the best damage spell in the game, and fast is pretty useful too. Alright, next on the Fiend list is Carry. Alright, I'm going to use my last house. So there are a lot of treasures in Volcano. Normally it is a place you want to go fairly early. I'm going to fight these because they're worth a bit of experience. Alright. We're gonna get some of the easy treasures. This one's kind of on the path. And then this room over here, the hype room, has a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully some of it's useful. What we're looking for at this point is a better weapon for the knight, and some more ribbons mostly. But we'll take some other stuff too. We don't have any magic attack items yet, which is a little surprising. We got the defense sword, which casts a spell, but it's not an attack spell. Oops, we got that one. There's a redundant pro ring. Giants have glare, that's good to know. Grey worms are apparently unrunnable. There's the Bane Sword, which is interesting, but not actually that great. Alright, didn't get anything super exciting there. Let's warp back and continue forward. So one thing you'll notice as I walk through Volcano is that I'm actually trying to walk on as many lava spaces as I can. Every lava tile you walk on injures your party for 1 hit point of damage. It's non-lethal, so you can walk around at 1 hit point in lava, and that's fine. Let's get a couple heals in and walk some more. But the one major benefit to walking on lava is that there are no encounters on lava tiles. No matter how much I walk on that lava, I will not get into a fight. So it's generally to your benefit to walk on as much lava as you can. Alright, let's get some heal potions. One thing I haven't gotten is a life spell, which is fairly unfortunate. Alright, yeah, let's go get these treasures too. Get a level here, a level there. That was level 15 for our knight. Oh, Agamas are unrunnable. That's pretty funny. You actually don't have that many Fade charges left. You're gonna use your Bane Sword, why not? Okay. That's not very nice. Agamas do give a lot of experience. Oh, the TNT. I forgot about that as well. Well, we can go give that to Narek, and he'll open up the canal for us, despite not having a ship. Alright, well, this is less than optimal, but I think our party is still capable of killing Carrie. I'm not too worried about it. Let's get this one and skip the other treasure. The other treasure's got a green worm behind it. I don't really need to fight it. Oops. Didn't mean to skip that chest, but may as well have. I'm gonna skip that chest up there. I'm gonna get this chest and not the other one, because there are 2 tiles in here that are spiked for Agama fights, and apparently those are terrible fights to do, so we're not going to do them. Again, we're kind of in go mode, so I'm not obligated to get all the chests. This isn't quite where I wanted to go, but it's fine. Again, use up some heals, since I don't want to use all my Cure 4 charges necessarily. Alright. So again, our plan is just going to be to nuke and fade and attack Carrie into oblivion, and hope that it works. This is a place where I could use the fast spell on the fighter, but Carrie doesn't have too many hit points normally, so nuke should just get the job done better. Like that. And that's 2 orbs down. Alright. So again, let's go to Crescent Lake and heal up. Get our red mage up. I want to go visit a couple stores here. We can get 10 houses. That sounds glorious. Restock on heal potions. We're not likely to need a ton of heal potions at this point, since we're not going to be walking on any more damage floors. But it's there. We've got the heal 3 spell, which is pretty great. As well as the wall spell. And we can afford it, so why not? Yeah, the red wizard can't equip the first level 6 spell in the white magic shop. I believe these were all terrible, so I'm not going to bother with them. Duck in and out. Go to the inn. Alright, that's 2 orbs down. Next orb is the water orb. We could go turn in the TNT, but Narek, I believe, always gives the canal, which is of no use to us. We've already got our Oxyale, so we have access to the Sea Shrine. So just a matter of landing in the right spot and walking there. You'll also notice that there was a ship port down here that is not normally here. There's a couple places where this has been added as a map change in order to further promote diversity in progression among the seeds. So we don't necessarily need the airship in order to access this continent. In fact, the floater could be inside Waterfall, it could be inside a random chest inside Sea Shrine, as long as we have the ship and are able to access this. We would of course need the canoe in order to access the waterfall, so the canoe can't be inside the waterfall. But I don't believe there's anything stopping the canoe from being inside Sea Shrine. Alright, let's save up. And I think... Oh, I did forget to go get the Fade spell on my knight, but I don't think I'm too worried about that. Alright, let's go check out the level 7 spells. Because why not? Those aren't good. We were really hoping for a life spell there. And Ice 2 is not very exciting. And is very expensive. Alright, we've got Oxyale, so we can enter the Sea Shrine. Typically I like to just go kill Kraken. You just have nothing, whatever. There's a lot of good experience to be had here. So you want to try and kill the easy fights when you can. Good job. And again, we're still sort of low level. One thing I could do is go to the right side and go towards mermaids. And there's a whole bunch of treasure in there, but it does take a little while to get there. I'm just going to go ahead and avoid it. For all I know, I'm missing out on Mazmune and a whole bunch of other sweet stuff, but I like to live dangerously. Lots of encounters here, but at least they're all runnable. Lobsters can be fairly difficult to deal with. They do have a lot of attack power. Sometimes that can get randomized to crazy proportions, so lobsters are something to look out for. I'm not going to use any magic on this one, since we ambushed it. Save us a spell charge or two. There's a couple easy treasures here. So it only takes us a couple steps out of the way to grab them. And if we get lucky, we find something extremely useful. Alright, so who needs stuff? Oh, this is another feature I should explain as well. So normally, if your weapon or armor inventory are full, and you come across something, a piece of armor, say, it will just tell you can't hold any more. It won't say what it is. But one of the conveniences we've added to the randomizer is this function here. It will tell you what it is without having to chuck something in your armor inventory, only to find a cap or something like that. So that's a really neat way to save some time. There isn't as much of a penalty for not keeping your inventory in order. So that's really neat. And of course, you know, it's still there, even though I haven't dropped anything. It's not going to go away since we checked it. So it'll still be there after I drop this silver helmet, and this silver helmet, and this pro ring, and this opal armor that we don't need. Alright, then I have to decide who wants the ribbon. Probably the black mage. So let's do that. Sounds good. Alright, there's some treasures on this floor. This particular one is extremely free. I'm gonna grab these two as well. Hey, a Zeus Gauntlet. Alright, that is an activatable magic item that casts Lit 2. So I guess we'll give it to the Black Mage. Alright, I could get this chest in the upper right here, but there's a spiked tile directly to my right. Spiked tile means it's guaranteed to have an encounter on it, and I know what that encounter is. It's gray sharks and sometimes wizard sagan. I'm just going to avoid it in the interest of saving time. Of course, if we're not in go mode and we are still searching for a plot item, you're probably going to want to open every chest you find. However, that's not the case here. One thing we can do to make things a little faster is if we put the Zeus Gauntlet in the first position, it's going to be easier to access inside combat. As you'll see, now it's up at the top of the list. So that's kind of convenient. Just a small trick again. Nothing too advanced. Anybody can do it. Alright, we take a little bit of damage. Let's get a nice big heal out there. So Kraken does typically have quite a bit of attack power. That's something to be aware of. Another quirk with the enemy scripts and skill/spells shuffle. The first 4 fiends are going to shuffle their own skills and spells amongst themselves only. There are 3 different groups of enemies that get shuffled. There are the 4 Orb Fiends, Lich, Carrie, Tiamat, and Kraken. They will have their abilities and spells randomized between themselves. So Kraken isn't only necessarily going to have ink. It might have any other spell. Carry has hold sometimes, you know. It's random. But it's only random within those 4 enemies. The next group are the Revisited Fiends. So everything in TOFR, Temple of Fiends Revisited. Lich 2, Carry 2, Tiamat 2, Kraken 2, and Chaos, as well as Warmech is also in this group. I believe it's in this group. It might be in the previous group. I'm actually not sure. I think it's in this group though. Their skills and spells are going to be randomized. So the nuke spell, the nuclear ability, tornado, blaze, lots of really nasty stuff that is going to stick with the endgame bosses. As well as the Cure 4 spell, which can surprise you. So those are all going to get randomized amongst themselves. The last group is every other enemy in the game, so all the basic enemies, some of the mini-bosses, Astos, Vampire, Phantom, things like that. They're all going to have their spells and skills interchanged. Some of the bosses may not end up having any skills or spells, it's random entirely, but Kraken here is going to have some of the skills and spells of any of the 4 fiends, or possibly none of them. Alright, I wanted to make sure I was fully healed. Close enough. And another thing I could do here is I can switch around party members. So as I said before, the rear party members are targeted less often. The exact percentages are 50% goes to the first slot, 25% goes to the second, and then 12.5% for each of the third and fourth slots. So these 2 slots are interchangeable as far as targeting goes. There is no difference between these 2 slots whatsoever. In vanilla Final Fantasy, there is some difference because of that aforementioned run bug, but in Randomizer we fixed that. Their run chance is based on level and luck. So there is absolutely no difference between the third and fourth slots. If one of these party members were to die, that target chance, I believe, is just... If it would roll that particular target, it just tries to re-roll. So, if the knight goes away, that 50% is basically going to be split 2 parts, 1 part, 1 part among the rest of these. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm not super worried about my fighter dying in this fight, because I have so many magic spells. So I'm just going to keep him in the first slot. He's the tankiest, and we'll see what happens. I am actually going to use the defense sword once. That'll cast the ruse spell, which will give him higher evasion. But other than that, let's go nuts. Fade and nuke and nuke. Kraken normally has about 800 hit points. Oh, Kraken's a baby. Yep. Kraken got its attack power pretty nerfed by the randomizer, so this should not be a difficult fight, hopefully. But we don't know what abilities it will have, and we'll never find out. Alright, there's the third orb. So there are still a whole bunch of treasures in there we didn't get, but really not too concerned with them. So let's go ahead and be on our way to get the last one. I really should be fighting more things here. I am somewhat level deficient at the moment. Luckily, there are lots of things in Mirage Tower and Floating Castle that give a lot of experience, so I am going to try and fight some of that. And we bought lots of houses, so we get to heal all our magic as well. Alright, so there is one more errand we have to do. We still need the chime in order to enter Mirage Tower. We have already translated the slab, so we are able to speak Lefanish. So we can talk to the little Fani people and receive the chime. These guys have glare, so hopefully we don't get hit by it. Luckily it targeted somebody with a ribbon. They are immune to glare. Another quirk with how Final Fantasy formulas work, that is a carryover from vanilla, is you are never truly immune to anything. What that means is Similar to Dragon Warrior, there is always a very small chance you will be hit by something. So, that Glare ability, it's a time elemental ability, because they have this weird concept of time and space being the same thing, and I can't explain why Glare is such a thing, but it is an instant death attack, and with a ribbon on, you are effectively immune from it, but there is a 3 out of 256 chance, so roughly 1%, that your immunity does not matter and it's going to hit anyway. This works both for you and against you. So you have a couple instant death spells, for instance, Rub or Break, things like that. Even if an enemy is immune to it, you have a 1% chance of killing them with it anyhow. So that can go both ways. So again, just another strange quirk of how that works. Alright, so we got the chime. We already have the cube because we bought it. So we are all set to enter Mirage Tower, but I am actually going to go do one thing before that. I want to see if there are life spells in these shops, because we really do want a source of life at some point. I'm going to save that money, just in case. So what do we got here? Nope, we got Harm 4. It looks like, wow, is Life and Life 2 level 8? Or did I miss Life at some point? Because I think we've hit every other magic shop. Would you look at that? 3 of the most useful spells in the game are level 8. I'm finding it unlikely that we'll ever get level 8 charges, because those are something like level 25 to get spell charges in, which we may not actually get to. You want to be around the mid-20s, possibly upper 20s, depending on what kind of offensive capabilities you have in order to beat the game. So I'll pick it up, just in case. Obviously, again, the White Wizard is the only one that can learn these level 8 white magic spells. Red Wizards can never learn level 8 spells. Unless we do weird flags in Randomizer, but we're not doing that. These tournament flags include only the magic levels shuffle, so, and the Keeper Missions flag is off, so Red Wizard will not be able to learn any of these spells. Luckily, we have a White Wizard with us, so we can at least do that. Alright, we were hoping for level 7, because then we'd have spell charges at level 20, but it is not to be. Alright, so we're still fairly low level. You can see Life 2 all the way at the bottom there, which we are probably never going to get spell charges in. But let's try Mirage Tower. Alright, saved right outside. Now, there are an awful lot of treasures on these first 2 floors, and I think it actually is worth it to grab some of these. And in fact, it's probably worth it to fight a bunch of this stuff too, since we've got houses to heal up anyway. We need some levels, so we can do 2 things at once. We can go run to find treasures, as well as level at the same time. It's always good to be doing multiple things at once. And it's such a quick warp outside. We can just use a house and be right back to it, that I don't feel too bad about using spell charges. Oops. I meant to go down that corridor. Poison Touch. Doesn't everybody love poison? But again, lots of stuff in here gives some pretty good experience, so that's nice. We are hoping for a nice weapon for Knight, or ribbons, or potentially Black Shirt. We did not find any of those. So let's warp out, use a house, and dive back in. Alright, I'm gonna judiciously use magic again. Once we clear the treasure room in the middle of here, I'm gonna warp out again. Normally I wouldn't do that, but really want some levels. We are very under-leveled at the moment. And luckily these Chimera give quite a bit of experience. There's lots of fights on this floor that give really good experience. And we're, again, hoping for some useful equipment. Lots of money. The maximum possible in a chest. Hey, there's a ribbon. Alright, so... another thing I guess I didn't completely touch on before. So, all the treasures in the game are randomized, but they're swapped between their locations. There are normally only 3 ribbons in the vanilla game. You will only ever find 3 ribbons. It's not a case where you could randomly get 5 Mazmunes or something like that. They're just swapped between each other randomly. It's not total randomness in terms of what treasures you get. So there will always be 3 ribbons, there will always be 1 Mazmune, etc. Since our knight has 5 different elemental protections at the moment, between Dragon Armor, Pro Ring, and Aegis Shield, I'm going to give the final ribbon to the Red Mage. At some point, you just kind of have to choose who's not getting a ribbon, or 2, depending. I'm going to fight like 1 or 2 more fights before I warp out, I think. Hey, this is unrunnable anyway. To really make sure I have some levels. And we can use new charges, because why not? Wow, did I really not kill this thing? Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna wander back and forth. There's so much good stuff up here. For fighting, it almost doesn't matter what it is. Okay, I've actually run out of nuke charges. I want to keep an eye on my warp charges that I've got, although my Red Mage also has warp, so I'm certainly not going to run out of too many. And I really only need 1, but... let's get a couple more fights in, I think. Ooh, this is going to be fruitful. Fire 2 might actually be alright here. Excuse my squeaky chair. I apologize. Alright. Let's get another heal in. And we got an ambush, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna save your charge. The Red Mage's Fade charge should be plenty. Another nice benefit of the randomizer is, again, all these fights and menus and text boxes are much faster. So it doesn't feel so bad to fight things. Everything is just much more fast-paced. It's very nice. maybe like one more fight. There are other places I could be leveling as well. On the floor above us, there's a spike tile with the blue dragon fight, which gives a pretty solid amount of experience as well. But, you know, there are tiny optimizations you can do for better or worse leveling, but this is close enough to good that it doesn't matter so much. Alright, there's a few levels there. Alright, so let's warp out and use a house, and we have healed our magic and everything else. And let's go kill Tiamat after we kill these things. Because again, these things give some pretty good experience. Oops. This is going to give a bit of experience, but it's also going to take a while. We are effectively immune to the rub spell thanks to our pro rings and ribbons. Alright, this way to the 3rd floor. Once we kill some Chimera first. I was kind of hoping we could do it without spell charges. Well, I suppose I still can. Just gonna take an extra round is all. Ooh, wyverns. Alright, so right above this door is a guaranteed blue dragon fight, which is normally unrunnable. And normally these guys give a pretty good beating, so I'm actually just going to run from it. You need the cube in order to step on this transporter, which leads to the floating castle. Each of these 4 spokes off of this main room, 3 of them lead to treasure rooms, and the north one leads to the upstairs. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that one. Again, another unrunnable. So we had to fight it anyway. Oh, these guys give a ton of experience. Let's do that. Alright, again, this is kind of an 8-spoked wheel this time. The very north one is where you come from. The very bottom one is where you go to the 3rd floor, and the others are all treasure rooms. But they take a while to get to. They only have 1 or 2 treasure chests each, so this is probably the room where you most want to avoid getting the treasure in the game if you're just trying to speed through. This one's a little different. If we go east, we find a room with 6 treasure chests. North of us has 4 treasure chests, and west of us has 4 treasure chests. There's nothing south. The quickest by far are these 4, since we're also right by the stairs up. Though we didn't really find anything useful there. Alright. This room, depending on the flags we have, are sometimes... the transporters are randomized. I don't believe that's the case with these tournament flags, although we're probably about to find out. Normally, we can just go 2 intersections up and over, or down and over. It actually doesn't matter. And this air elemental fight is obligatory. Ooh. Hey, lots of evasion. That's fun. Hey, you got some fade charges, go nuts. I'll get some healing done as well. Alright, yep, so these teleporters are not randomized, although they can be in certain flag sets, but they are not for the Spring Tournament flags we're using. So you can either go up, then right twice, up twice, then right twice. You can go any direction twice, and then another direction perpendicular twice, and you will find this teleporter. You can think of it kind of like a 4x4 room, because the room just wraps around itself. If we were to go straight up from here, we could just keep going up perpetually, and every 4 intersections we would find this teleport. So it doesn't really matter which way you go. I typically just go up then right. Alright, and now this bridge is very, very heavy with encounters. This has the most encounters in the game, and includes one of the most dangerous encounters in the game, the Warmack. So we're sort of hoping to dodge that. Let's get another quick heal in. Ooh, we might get pretty lucky in terms of encounters. That was not too bad. Alright, and they're all runnable so far, so that's good. Ooh, that was a lot of damage from that metal slime. Okay. I'm actually gonna fight this. These guys aren't too bad. They have a lot of hit points, but they give reasonable experience, so. Alright, well, almost, so close. The last possible spot on the bridge for an encounter. So once you're in this room, all these arrow spots don't have encounters, so that's nice. You're safe from everything in here. Let's heal up. Now we're good. Sort of the same deal with all the previous fiends. I'm not too worried about my knight getting melee to death, and I'm just going to use a bunch of magic and try and kill Tiamat. So away we go. Nuke, fade, nuke. I could use fast again on my knight, but nuke's going to do a lot of damage. Or it should do a lot of damage. It's somewhere between 100 and 400. We got unlucky. Tiamat rolled one of Kraken's ink skills, so that's pretty nice. That normally doesn't do a whole lot. And we're just going to keep spamming spells. And eventually she'll go down. There you go. So that's our last fiend. That is the 4th orb. And we just saved so I can reset. So I do want to do one more thing. We never did get spells for our knight. So let's go back to Caneria and pick up Fade. Just in case. Let's check and see. Yeah, there's really nothing else for our knight. We could get Fog too, but that's not really going to be a spell that's going to be cast by our knight ever. But Fade might be. So let's go do that. And let's see, we've got 91 heal potions, that's certainly enough. We've got the loot, so and the Mystic Key, so we can go through all of TOFR. And we did all this without finding any of the plot items and chests, which is fairly interesting. Okay, so I think we are ready. Land right there, and head on in. We go talk to this black orb behind where Sarah was held captive, and we are now in TOFR. So, one peculiarity about this dungeon is you can't actually, there's no stairs or anything to go back to the overworld. You have to use the warp or exit spells in order to do that. I have no intention of doing that, but it's just something to keep in mind. This is actually a very good place to level if you have, say, the exit spell. Alright, so this room, the tile 1 north of us, always has the Phantom. Normally it's unrunnable. However, it's runnable here. And I'm going to take that opportunity because Phantom usually hits very hard. We've got 2 free chests, and then this goes away when you play the loot. So you need the loot to beat the game in order to progress. So that's something to keep in mind. Normally that is just something you kind of get for free. I'm going to fight this. I don't think the Bane Sword's going to do a whole lot, but I'm going to fight this because we got the ambush and it's fairly free. I was hoping these had fewer hit points. I'm just going to run. We are actually, again, fairly low level for TOFR, and if I die, I might find myself grinding a little bit to try and remedy that. But here we are, now we're onto the Earth floor, where eventually we're going to find Lich. Earth Elemental's normally unrunnable, but runnable here. Alright, so one south of me is the Lich tile. I'm going to use some heal potions and make sure I'm all healed up. And then we're going to do our normal thing. Now we've got lots of spell charges. He doesn't have a ton of nuke or fast charges, so I'm actually not going to use that. I'm just going to use the Zeus Gauntlet. Wow. That's as tame as it gets. The 1 damage hit. Hopefully we kill Lich this round. Not likely. Oh, there we go. Lich 2 normally has 500 hit points, so again that's going to be plus or minus a few, but somewhere around there. Ooh, the Green Worm fight is unrunnable though, and that's sort of annoying because I think these guys have glare or something nasty. So I'm going to use a couple charges here. Try and get through this fight quickly. We'll get a level or 2 on the way. Agamas have Blaze, so they're real nasty. Oh, and you have Stoning Poison. Luckily I am all immune to that, but still not great. Alright, there are some treasure chests south of here, but typically I just ignore them. Alright. So Carry can sometimes melee you a bit, but I don't have the life spell, so I'm just going to have my Knight tank it. And off we go. I'm going to use the defense sword. You're going to use fast. You're going to use fade. And we can blow through 1 nuke charge, I think. Oh! Wasn't that wonderful? Well, we're doing this without a knight now. That's gonna make chaos extremely difficult. That's gonna make everything extremely difficult. Yeah, well, we'll try it. You'll get an idea for what happens when you're under level and don't have any life spells, so hopefully it's a bit of a learning experience. I actually may not even have enough warp charges to get out at this point. But yeah, we'll find out. Oh boy. Alright, well, she didn't have too many hit points, so it's possible. Alright. Okay. Well, we've got all the ribbons. Let's heal up, and Red Mage, you're our tank now. Congratulations. You've been promoted. Alright, so how many warp charges do I have? I have 12 warp charges. I could just leave now. Unfortunately, even though we've defeated Lich and Carry already, this is a spike tile, so if we walk back on it, they're still going to be there. I think it actually is in my best interest just to warp out, sadly. We've gained a few levels. So at least we'll still have those. Alright. I think, unfortunately, we do have to have a knight to complete this game. We only have so much damage output with spells. We don't have, like, a Mazmune as a great weapon for anybody to equip. And we don't have castable life spells yet. We need to get to level 25 on our White Mage for that. It is something to think about that maybe I would want to grind a bit more to get that so that this doesn't happen. And if you fight more things on the way throughout the game, you can kind of plan for that. That's just something you'll feel out as you play the game. But for now, we're just going to try and trudge through it as best we can. Do I even have the temper spell? I don't. Wow. This is actually going to be really difficult in general. Okay, well, we can run from that. I think I missed the temper spell at some point and probably should have gotten it. There are two different poison abilities. One of them petrifies and the other does a bunch of damage. They look alike otherwise. Just be aware of that. Oh, this is still unrunnable. Super. Those guys have a bunch of hit points. Ugh. Well, we are getting a couple levels at least. Good work, everyone. Do one more. This is tempting to fight, but I really just want to conserve as many resources as I can. Only fight the things I have to fight. Alright, that was a fairly uneventful Earth Floor. Alright, we already know, luckily, that Lich is kind of a pushover in the strength department. So hopefully we don't need to do too much in terms of killing it. Alright, Lich 2's not too bad. Everybody resists lightning on our team, thanks to the dragon armor and the ribbons. What? Where did my... Oh, I moved the defense sword over the red mage. I totally forgot. Alright. I suppose this would have been a good spot for the knight to use Fade. Alright, let's fix that little mistake. Man, I moved it over and I didn't even equip it on the red mage. Fun. I'm using up a lot of Fade charges, I really don't like that. I don't want you to use any more. I'm okay with Ice 3, though. Okay, these guys don't actually have a ton of hit points. So that's probably the only spell charge I'm going to use on here. Yeah, these guys aren't actually too bad. Just an annoying unrunnable. Couple more levels. Why not? I don't really need to use the heal spell here. Alright. Let's heal up to full, just in case. Try again. Alright. I'll go ahead and use fast. I do have a wall spell. Now that we know Carrie has crack, if I put up wall, he will be immune to all elements, so hopefully that will make it so that we don't get completely wrecked by crack. But we gotta go first in order for that to work, so hopefully we get lucky. Nope. Okay, but we dodged it, so that's important too. Alright. I am pretty okay with just doing some basic stuff at this point. We've done a fair bit of damage to her. There you go. And a level for our troubles. Alright. Now that's all the healing we needed to do. So the water floor is normally really treacherous because there are roving packs of water elementals that you typically can't run from. However, thanks to our runnable shuffle, that is likely to be a runnable fight. And of course I jinxed myself pretty heavily here. Alright. Luckily these things are weak to ice, so hopefully they don't have a ton of hit points, and we can just ice them to death. Because these guys hit pretty hard. May you have runnable water elementals in all of your seeds. Because they are very annoying. Alright, so right 1 square from me is where Kraken 2 is. Now, Kraken 2 has some of the highest strength in the game and hits a lot. And I do not have any life spells. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put my White Mage in the lead. I really, really don't want my Knight to die. My White Mage has the least useful spells. She does have a lot of cure spells, but I've got heal potions, and at this point I shouldn't have too much trouble with healing. Again, the character in the first slot is the most likely to be hit with a melee attack or any other single target attack. So I'm going to go like this, double checking that I've got all my healing done, and crossing my fingers. So we're going to go a little bit defensive here. So I'm going to Fog 2, that's going to raise everybody's defense. I'm actually going to do it with you too. I said I was never going to use that spell, and I went and did it anyway. going to use Fast on the Knight. And hopefully Kraken just uses Ink or something else benign. Yeah, Lit 2's not bad. One thing you always want to keep in the back of your mind is, again, the final bosses all have their skills shuffled from vanilla. That includes a nuke charge and some nuclear abilities from Warmech. So they're shuffled, not randomized completely. Again, so shuffling means something's going to have it. So hopefully it's, you know, at the end of Lich 2's spell list, or on Warmech, or something like that, that we don't have to deal with, but it's very likely that Kraken 2, Tiamat 2, or Chaos is going to have some nasty ability that we don't want to deal with. I'm actually going to go ahead and wall the fighter, and start killing, I guess. I'm just going to do Ice 3, I think. Ooh, not a lot of damage there. Yay, Ink. Alright. I think I do need a nuke charge here. We've got a couple fast charges, so I'm not super worried. Really just want to kill Kraken as quickly as possible. Ooh, poison is annoying, but can deal with it. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and use a heal charge. Wow. I can deal with all that. Not seeing a Kraken melee would be lovely. Still no death, though. I'm fine using that last charge. I'm less fine using the nuke charge here. So we're gonna hope that Ice 3 does a lot of damage. We did alright. Wow. We're getting really lucky on Kraken 2. This could be a problem. Normally, but we got through it. Alright, let's get Knight back in the lead. Do any healing we need to do. I'm using heal potions over the heal spells since it's a little unwieldy to use heal potions in battle, and we've got so many of them. Let's save our spell charges for battle. Alright, on to the air floor. This is fairly short. Luckily, this air elemental fight is runnable, because otherwise that would be a pain. And just go this way. It's a pretty short floor, with a few encounters, but otherwise pretty short. We want to heal up as much as we can. We've got a lot of heal potions. We are unlikely to run out. This one can be pretty tough. We've seen what zombie dragons are capable of, and whiz vampires hit very, very hard. It's a short floor, but a tough one. Alright, so one space to the right of me is Tiamat 2. Tiamat doesn't hit as hard as Kraken. Kraken pretty much always has really high agility, so that means a lot of hits. Tiamat maybe has higher strength, but will not hit as many times, so the melee is not a big of a problem. So I'm just going to leave Fighter where he is. We're all healed up. Let's go kill Tiamat. Alright, I am going to use that defense. I'm going to use a fast charge. Let's wall our Knight just in case Tiamat has, like, Zap or something like that. Sadly, our Black Mage is going to start getting very useless in terms of spells to cast. There's no real difference between Fire 2 or Lit 2 here. So go nuts. We got some Ice 3 charges, I guess. You got that, and you got that. Tiamat's gonna take a while to kill, probably, unless she doesn't have a lot of defense. Oh my god, she has a lot of defense. So we're gonna be mostly spell heavy to kill her, and hopefully... hopefully she doesn't have anything crazy damaging, but it looks like she might. So we're gonna go ahead and use some spells here to try and mitigate. Ooh, nice damage. Alright, not too worried about Lit 3. Ice, you want to heal. Let's just do a Cure 4 on the Knight. Ugh, I'd really like to keep some of these spells. I guess we'll use Ice 3. Because, again, I don't think we're going to do a whole lot of attack damage. Yeah, it wasn't great, so it's mostly going to be the spells. There we go. Alright. That could have been troublesome. Oops. Let's try to use the heal potions on the people that need it. Alright, and onward to the final fight. So there are no enemies on this floor, so you can just walk around at your leisure. Alright, so Chaos normally has 2,000 hit points. Typically what you want to do in this fight is cast Temper and Fast on your hardest hitting party member, so that's your Knight or your Black Belt usually. Temper stacks, aka you can use it multiple times. But sadly, I didn't have the foresight to get that spell, so I can't show that off. So this is going to be a little difficult. Hopefully Chaos doesn't have a whole lot of defense. We may not win this fight, because we are a pretty low level as well. But again, let's cross our fingers and hope we can get through it. Our Black Mage is really not going to be doing a whole lot. So I'm going to give you the Bane Sword just in case. And I guess you can equip that, because whatever. That's pretty much it. We're going to try and defense up a bit. Once you talk to him this third time, the fight's going to begin. So, we're going to defense. You can use Fast. Let's do our final wall on the Knight. And, I guess Nuke. Oh boy, that's not great. Chaos is going to hit a lot. Okay, well, I'm going to use defense once again then, and we're going to tank up as much as possible. So remember what I said about the immunity here. Chaos is immune to everything and resists all elements. So we only have a 1% shot of this Bane Sword actually doing anything. But our alternative is Fire 2 or Lit 2, which are pretty much equivalent. They're not going to do a whole lot of damage. So one thing you can do is just kind of go for the Hail Mary on the Bane Sword. If a bunch of my units die and somehow the Black Wizard is the only one left alive, that's probably what I'll end up doing. But I'm just going to use the Zeus Gauntlet here. Every little bit helps. It's only going to do like 17 damage, but, you know, like I said, every little bit helps. Oh boy. Whew. Well, there's that nuclear ability. Yep, 17 right on the nose. Well, we'll see what melee does. I did cast Fast on the Knight. Hopefully, it does a chunk of damage. He does have 4 Fade charges. Should it come down to it as well. I'm going to use a Heal 3 charge. And a Heal 2, I think. And you're going to keep doing your thing. Alright, so that should hopefully get me out of Ice 2 range here for the Black Mage. So that was good order of operations there. That's the bulk of our healing, sadly. 8 hits for 96. That is not a lot. I think I'm going to use some Fade charges. You've still got Nuke. You can go nuts. You've still got Fade. That's actually kind of better than... actually, you know what? We've got the White Shirt. He did cast Fast on himself, so if he melees, it's going to be a lot of hits. Let's do that instead. So, we're going to go like this. 81 damage, slightly less than the melee was going to do. We're going to try and get our evasion up as high as possible, just in case melee happens to come by. Well, Lit 2's not melee. We're going to keep casting Fade. You've got a Fade charge left. I'm going to Cure for you, because I feel bad for you. Even though you don't do a whole lot, maybe you'll be a decoy. Actually, I probably should have put the Black Wizard up front. Oh boy. Yeah, that's going to be a thing. Alright. You've got Fade charges left. Go nuts. And sort of at this point, we're kind of just crossing our fingers that Chaos doesn't have a whole lot of hit points. Oh boy. Tornado is not something you can resist either. Let's cure for the knight. And keep trying. Ooh, good damage on that fade. Swirl. It's gonna kill the black mage. You don't have any fade charges left. Let's cure for yourself. Alright, since we walled the knight, he is immune to time. So Zap didn't get us. Oh my goodness, 8 hits for 8 damage. Yikes. Whew. That's all our spells, so yeah, good luck to you, fighter. Well, let's keep slapping on Invis too, I guess. We need critical hits to land in order for us to do anything at this point. I guess Fog 2. Actually, I probably should just be pumping him full of heal potions. There's not a whole lot else I can do. Oh my goodness. That's pretty bad. There's the nuke! Okay. Well, we're super screwed now. Yeah. Go, wooden staff, go. I'm just gonna hit A until we die. Unless this is like the most epic thing ever and he has like 2 hit points left, but it seems unlikely. Whew. Alright. Let's go and find that temper spell. I don't believe it was in Caneria, but let's go roam the world for it anyway. Because I think that's a good thing to show off. I'm fairly certain it wasn't here, but... Okay, nope. I don't believe it was in Provoca, but... Let's go check that as well. This is where writing down notes comes in handy. Normally I would write down where the temper spell is, but I didn't see it. It's not here. There's Saber, but Saber only affects the caster. I'm not super excited about a Red Wizard potentially doing this. Maybe it was in Crescent. I missed it, but I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure all the black magic here was terrible. Yep. That's no good. Yeah, wooden staff not doing the job there, sadly. This is kind of what skipping treasure chests gets you. Oops. I don't recommend landing on the sea. It doesn't do a whole lot usually. Alright. Not there either. Maybe it was an Elfland. There's a pair of magic houses there. Okay, nope. Bane, Ice 3, and Warp. It might have been in the level 4 house, because I couldn't really afford a whole lot when I was here the first time. Nope. Okay, that means it's level 7 or level 8. I don't think it was in Lefane. Maybe I'll check Gaia, actually. Don't think I checked Gaia at all. So this is where having a really high level black belt would also come in handy, since Chaos has so much armor. Well, no, there's Fire 3, which I guess I'll take. Harm 4 is not terribly useful. So I think that means Temper is either here or in Lefane. Yep, there's Temper. We're not gonna have spell charges for that either. Although, maybe we should. Alright. So I guess I'm gonna show off some grinding then. Because really, really want to be mid-20s, especially when your best weapon is the defense sword. So we're gonna grind a bit here. The absolute best place to grind is actually on the 3rd floor. There is tons of stuff here, including gas dragons and a large badman fight. This one's just fine too. So the intention is to just grind here for a bit, and equip the defense sword. Sometimes when you do poor planning and you don't level enough, this is what happens. But luckily grinding doesn't take too long. You've got fade charges, go nuts. I consider this an excellent tutorial on what not to do. Here's gas dragons. Again, normally these are unrunnable, but due to the magic of the randomizer, we can run from them. However, they give a lot of experience points, so I am happy to encounter them and wipe them off the earth. I think I'm going to aim for about 26 or so levels. A gas dragon ambush, which you also normally wouldn't see since they're unrunnable. So that's a frightening new prospect in Randomizer. Again, you can kind of just run anywhere. I don't recommend running inside Phantom's room. But other than that, we have not yet seen an example of that 1% immunity check fail. Alright, everybody leveled. You're down to ice 3 charges. If you want to help mitigate some of the risk, you can kind of warp out like nowish just to heal up, get spell charges back. Just in case you would die, you lose enough progress. Ooh, that is a lot of things to kill. but we've still got plenty of spell charges, so I'm not super worried about it. I'm gonna save that charge. I don't think I'm gonna need it. Alright, White Mage finally has a level 8 spell charge. So we've got 1 life 2 cast as soon as we heal. Let's use up this last charge. Alright. I'm gonna warp out here, since I'm running pretty low on warp charge or on nuke charges. And go back in one more time. We're gonna heal up. We're gonna grind a little bit more. I want to get Black Mage some temper charges to help with the chaos fight. These guys are surprisingly not super worth it in terms of experience. And as you can see, we got our 1 shiny bright life 2 charge. Knight will never have more than 4 spell charges. Same goes for Ninja. So I guess that's sort of something to keep in mind, although you really shouldn't be depending on Knight or Ninja spell charges all that much. Sadly, this is sort of the boring part of this tutorial. There's not a whole lot to say about grinding here, other than, yeah, you should look to make sure that your levels are high enough to do what you want to do. If we got luckier and Chaos didn't have as much armor, we might have actually been able to kill him. But doing 6 to 8 damage with a fasted Knight, that wasn't going to cut it. Alright, so we've got level 8 spell charge. Now, I want to at least get one more. And I think he'll get another one at 26, but if not, we'll just grab more levels until we do. Alright, well, we can kind of check that. Yeah, so white mages and black mages are going to get spell charges at exactly the same rate based on level. We just get level 26 with our white wizard, so we got a level 8 spell charge. So we know that we're going to get one with our black mage as well. That's not randomized, it has the exact same behavior as vanilla. So I'm going to get at least one more here. Maybe 2 more. We'll see what level 27 gets us as well. We're going to hit level 27 around the time Black Mage gets level 26 anyway. So this will be a nice tutorial for myself as well on spell charges, since I don't have the entire table memorized. Another really nice side benefit of the grind here is that we're also getting more maximum hit points, which of course are generically good, but also help us survive a nuke cast or a nuclear ability as well, which is something you'll want to keep in mind as well. We know Chaos has nuclear in its arsenal. Nuclear does not care about your ribbon. Here's 26 for the Black Mage. As far as expected time to finish a seed, of course, if you're just playing by yourself casually, don't worry about such a thing. Inside a race, I'm going a lot slower than I normally would right now to help out with the tutorial. So we just got level 27, we're not going to get another level 8 charge. So I think I'm just going to bounce from here. And hope that 2 temper charges are enough. Alright, let's throw a heal 3 just to make sure that we're going to get fully healed from this house. Alright, now hopefully we're a little bit better prepared for our endgame. We do still wish we would have found either the Adamant to get the Excalibur Sword or the Mazmune to make our knight do a lot better attack damage, but it was not to be. Ooh, how many heal points? Oh, I still have 94. Good, good, good. Alright, we can run from Phantom, so I will exercise that option. Which is kind of strange. It's the only boss that you are allowed to run from, as far as I can tell, unless I've been very unlucky and should have been able to run from other bosses before, but pretty sure. Since it's just a spike tile and not like an NPC encounter, I think that's the main difference there. Another thing you can do sometimes, which is a small improvement in your menuing, is you can try and put the heal potions in a certain spot. For instance, so if I had used up all of my cabins, or if I had turned in the TNT, this heal potion slot would be one to the left. So when you open the item menu, your cursor is going to be in the top left corner. You can just hit up to wrap down to the bottom here. So if I had turned in the TNT, all I'd have to do is hit up to use my heal potions, instead of having to use a couple different cursor movements. It's a small thing to do, but it's another you know, way to speed up. Got some mud golems. They can hit fairly hard. Alright, and let's make sure we're healed up for this fight. Not that I'm envisioning it's going to be too difficult, but it's plausible. I think you can just attack. I'm not too worried about... Well, actually, you know, now I know that I kind of want to conserve some fade charges. Fire 2 is not going to be an issue, though. Gonna use the Bane Sword for kicks, because she's not gonna do anything else. And Zeus Gauntlet's just better than Fire 2 here. Surprisingly, Lich 2 does not actually have a weakness to fire. It is still weak to harm spells, however. So, normally you wouldn't want to try and go a few rounds with any of the Elemental Fiends, but we had seen Lich a couple times at this point, and we knew it wasn't going to be a problem. I'll show off that weight if we get to the White Mage turn, but no. Well, now we're going to get to it, because Zeus Gauntlet's certainly not going to kill them all. You can see it just said, wait. It's as if we failed to run. And it is just barely faster than attacking barehanded, and attacking barehanded doesn't really do a whole lot, so May as well just wait instead. Fun times. Since I've damaged the first two, I'm going to try and hope that the Zeus Gauntlet cleans them up. Like so, but didn't quite get there on that one. Again, we want to favor heal potions instead of magic spells to heal when we're outside of battle. Alright. One thing I'm actually going to do, I am going to swap the ribbon over to my knight, because my black mage is not terribly useful. If my black mage dies to crack, so be it. I've got a spell charge for that. Let's see, you can use Fade. You can use Fade. You can use Fast. Well, that didn't quite order up the way I wanted, but it's alright. So Black Mage is probably gonna die? Nope, got lucky. Yeah, I should be pretty adequately leveled at this point. We can just wait. We can use Zeus Gauntlet for some free damage. Oh boy, that was a lot of damage. But so I think we're okay now in terms of levels. Again, hopefully we don't run into water elementals, since we know we can't run from them. And that's about the best water floor you can have. There is one nice spot in the encounter table we got. Remember, there's that 256 step table, and every 256 steps it repeats. So if you can manipulate the step encounters like so, you know, more power to you. Alright, so again, we're gonna go like this, because I don't care about Black Mage. If he dies, so be it. Although Kraken just cast everything last time instead of doing anything else, so that was kind of nice. I'm gonna go ahead and still use the white shirt, but otherwise, try and kill him before he kills me. Not a lot of melee damage, though. Okay. Do Ice 3s. Bye-bye, Red Mage. Okay, now we just have to hope we don't kill our White Mage off. Like I said, I have some Fire 3s. I'm gonna go ahead and use the white shirt again. That's the first Kraken 2 melee we saw. So the white shirt casts Invis 2, and that's gonna increase our evasion. Bye-bye, Black Mage. So there's our 2 life 2 charges. Hopefully we don't need one after Tiamat. We gotta kill this guy as soon as possible now. Alright. Alright, I do want both of these back now. There's no real reason to wait. Alright, and off to the air floor. Walk to the spot right before Tiamat, heal up. I'm actually going to go ahead and give the ribbon back to to the Black Mage, because Tiamat doesn't have anything that matters for that. And I can actually just cast Wall on our Knight as well, should I need it. And there's probably no reason not to do that as well. Alright, you can cast Fast. I guess I'll go ahead and use that Wall spell I was just talking about. And go nuts. I don't want to use all my nuke charges. Let's use Ice 3 instead. Ooh. Really don't want our White Mage to die here. So I'll have her cure for herself. Now we can do a little bit better attack damage with our Knight. There you go. Alright. I think we're going to do much better against Chaos this time. What do you think? I think we're going to run from these first, though. Then run from one or two more fights on the way, I bet. We are out of life charges, so I do want to just fully heal. We have so many heal potions, we may as well just full heal every time. No reason to take chances. Okay. Peculiar that our white wizard has more hit points than our red mage, but so be it. Alright, so let's put black mage in the front, because our knight is allegedly gonna do some more damage. Actually, you know what? Let's put white mage in the front. I'm going to... I guess Chaos didn't have... Or Chaos does have Zap, but I can just wall that. And I do actually kind of want Black Mage to have a ribbon earlier on, since the fighter does resist a whole bunch of other stuff. Is there anything else I should change over? I'll put Bane up front, but that doesn't really matter. Alright, yeah, and we're fully healed, so let's try again. Alright, so I do want to wall up the knight just to make him immune to all the things. Let's fast him, and we've got this handy-dandy temper spell. I don't know the exact numbers on it. I believe it's something like plus 14 attack power every time you cast it. Oh boy. Well, let's bust out some heal 3s. Even Red Mage has got heal 3. And let's just go with another temper and go nuts. Oh boy, 96 damage. Well, that's a start. Again, these tempers do stack, so he's going to have 28 more attack power than he normally would. Alright, you may as well just keep heal 3ing, although I think you guys can start nuking. So that's much better than 5 hits for 5. Although I am sort of lacking in the defensive options. He did cast Fast on himself, so I really should be invis-2ing the team a bit. And I think I'm actually going to cast defense one more time, too. Alright. Not a lot of damage out of Link 2. That's what we want to see. Fog 2 increases our armor. Let's go ahead and throw another heal out there. And you can start nuking as well. I think this is going to go a touch better, hopefully. There's a tornado somewhere in there, but we're doing quite a bit more damage. We walled our knight so we wouldn't get hit by Zap. Oh! And there we go. We were actually pretty close, I think, with that first fight, but that's it. So Chaos normally has 2,000 hit points. Again, that's going to be plus or minus about 50% of that. I don't remember the exact percentages on the tournament flags. Again, that's something you can tweak in the randomizer settings. But once you kill Chaos, the game is over, and you can hit .done in the SRL channel if you are doing a race, or you can just enjoy if you are playing casually. So that's that. There is the Final Fantasy Spring Tournament Flags Randomizer tutorial. I hope I showed everyone that you need to be a reasonable level to kill Chaos sometimes. It could have been it could have been any one of the fiends that was a bit nasty. After the ending, it's going to show you some stats. I didn't do a whole lot of resets. I didn't do any power cycling. We wiped 4 times. That's that perished counter. So yeah, hopefully, again, if you guys have any unanswered questions, the Discord is a great place to go to get those answered. If you go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, the very first link is to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord. Pretty much all of the speedrunners are on that Discord, including myself. There is a new player help channel in that Discord where you can ask all sorts of questions, as well as lots of other channels for all kinds of discussion and help, anything you would need. If you're watching this on Twitch, I also have a YouTube channel that's recently christened. It's just Tristal MTG, just like my Twitch channel here. Go ahead and follow that. I'll be manually uploading some of the races I do, as well as this tutorial if you want to see it in the future. You can also watch my Twitch videos as well. I'll be archiving this tutorial so you can refer to it at any time. I think that's about it. Here's the end screen. I don't have much else to say, so thank you all for watching. If you are interested in the tournament, I believe signups continue for a few weeks yet. Otherwise, join the Discord. I really can't recommend that enough. Just say hi, if nothing else. Even if you never want to join the tournament or do a speed race of this, you can still have lots of your questions answered there. Just say hi. Really great community. We're all very friendly. Okay, so I will hope to see all of you enjoying this randomizer. And until next time, thank you very much. This is Tristal MTG, Tristal for short, saying goodbye.